Imagine this for a moment. Two people sell the exact same product at the same price to the same market. One struggles every month, worries about money, and dreads rejection. The other closes deals calmly, confidently, and earns 5 or 10 times more without working harder. What's the difference? According to Tracy, it has very little to do with talent, luck, or personality. It has everything to do with psychology. In the psychology of selling, Tracy reveals that sales success is not an outer game of clever words or tricks. It's an inner game of mindset, self-concept, and learned skills. In this video, we'll break down the complete book chapter by chapter so you can understand how top salespeople think, act, and win consistently. Tracy begins by explaining that this book is designed to help you sell more, faster, and easier than you ever thought possible. The principles inside are not theoretical. They are tested, practical, and responsible for creating more millionaire salespeople than any other sales training program in history. Tracy shares his own story of starting with no education, no experience, and failing badly in sales. His breakthrough came when he realized that selling is a skill, one that can be learned, practiced, and mastered. Once he learned how top salespeople think and behave, his income skyrocketed. The core message of the book is simple. Success in selling is predictable, and if you do what successful salespeople do, you will eventually get the same results. Chapter 1. The Inner Game of Selling. Nothing happens until a sale takes place. Tracy opens this chapter by making it clear that sales is not just another profession. It is the foundation of all economic activity. Without sales, businesses cannot survive, employees cannot be paid, and innovation comes to a standstill. Salespeople are the spark plug of the free enterprise system, and the success of any company, city, or nation is directly tied to the effectiveness of its sales force. Tracy challenges the outdated idea that sales is a second-rate or manipulative profession. In reality, the most successful companies in the world are also the best-selling organizations, and many of the highest-paid executives began their careers in sales. Selling, when done professionally and ethically, is one of the most respected and financially rewarding skills a person can develop. At the core of this chapter is the idea that selling is primarily an inner game. The greatest differences in sales performance are psychological, not technical. Two salespeople can sell the same product at the same price in the same market, yet achieve radically different results. The difference lies in how they think, feel, and perceive themselves. Tracy introduces the Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule. The top 20% of salespeople earn 80% of the income, while the bottom 80% earn only 20%. Even more striking, the top 4% often earn as much as everyone else combined. These top performers are not dramatically smarter or more talented. They're simply a little bit better in the key skills of selling, and those small advantages compound over time into massive income differences. One of the most important concepts in this chapter is self-concept. Your self-concept is the way you see yourself and think about yourself as a salesperson. It acts like a master program that controls your performance. You always perform on the outside in a manner consistent with how you see yourself on the inside. If you see yourself as confident, capable, and professional, you will act that way. If you see yourself as weak, fearful, or ineffective, your behavior will unconsciously reflect those beliefs. This is why mindset is so critical in sales. Closely related to self-concept is self-esteem, how much you like yourself. Tracy explains that self-esteem is the reactor core of your personality. The more you like yourself, the more confident, relaxed, and persuasive you become. High self-esteem salespeople enjoy meeting new people, handle rejection calmly, and persist longer than others. Fear is the biggest enemy of sales success. Fear of failure and fear of rejection hold more salespeople back than any lack of skill or opportunity. These fears cause procrastination, avoidance, and underperformance. Many salespeople spend more time preparing to sell than actually selling, simply to avoid the possibility of rejection. Tracy emphasizes that rejection is never personal. When a prospect says no, They're rejecting the offer, not the salesperson as a human being. Top salespeople understand this and emotionally detach from rejection. They expect it, accept it, and move on quickly. To strengthen self-esteem, Tracy introduces positive self-talk. What you say to yourself repeatedly becomes your reality. One of the most powerful affirmations he recommends is simply saying, "I like myself." Repeating this phrase consistently rewires your subconscious mind, boosts confidence, and improves performance almost immediately. The chapter concludes with a powerful idea. Success breeds success. The more you sell, the better you feel about yourself. The better you feel about yourself, the more effectively you sell. Once this upward cycle begins, your sales career can accelerate rapidly. Chapter 2. Set and achieve all your sales goals. Brian Tracy states that people who do not set goals end up working for people who do. Goal setting is not optional for sales success. It is essential. Top salespeople are intensely goal-oriented. They know exactly how much they want to earn, how many sales they need to make, and how many prospects they must contact to reach their targets. Average salespeople, by contrast, operate reactively. They hope for good results instead of planning for them. One of the most important principles in this chapter is that goals must be written down. A written goal activates your subconscious mind and turns it into a problem-solving tool. Once you clearly define what you want, your mind automatically begins searching for ways to achieve it. Tracy emphasizes clarity. Instead of vague goals like, "I want to sell more," top performers set specific, measurable targets such as monthly income goals, daily call quotas, and weekly appointment numbers. Clear goals create clear action. Another key concept introduced here is the income thermostat. Everyone has a mental comfort zone for income. No matter how hard you work, you tend to earn within this range. If you earn more than your comfort zone allows, you subconsciously sabotage yourself. If you earn less, you feel stress and urgency until you return to your normal level. To increase income permanently, you must reset this internal thermostat. This is done through visualization, affirmations, and gradually setting higher financial goals that stretch but do not overwhelm your self-concept. Tracy also highlights the power of persistence. Many salespeople quit too soon, especially when results are delayed. In reality, sales success often follows a delayed payoff curve. Those who persist longer than others inevitably outperform them. The chapter reinforces the idea that sales success is intentional. When you decide exactly what you want and commit to it daily, results are not a matter of luck. They are a matter of time. Chapter 3. Why People Buy. In this chapter, Tracy explains that people do not buy products or services. They buy feelings, solutions, and results. Every buying decision is emotional first and logical second. Customers buy to improve their lives in some way. They want to save time, save money, avoid pain, increase pleasure, feel secure, or enhance their self-image. Even highly technical or business-related purchases are driven by emotional motives such as fear, pride, or desire for status. One of the most powerful forces influencing buying behavior is fear. Customers fear making mistakes, wasting money, or being disappointed. This fear of failure is the primary reason people hesitate or refuse to buy. The salesperson's job is to reduce fear. This is done by building trust, establishing credibility, and providing reassurance. The more confident and calm the salesperson appears, the safer the customer feels. Tracy stresses the importance of trust. People buy from salespeople they like and trust, not from those who pressure or manipulate them. Rapport, empathy, and genuine concern are far more effective than aggressive persuasion. Another critical insight is that customers are self-centered. They are primarily interested in how a product or service will benefit them personally. Successful salespeople focus their presentation on the customer's needs, problems, and desires rather than on features. By understanding why people buy, salespeople can align their approach with natural human psychology instead of fighting against it. Chapter 4. Creative Selling. Creative selling means standing out by thinking differently from the average salesperson. Tracy encourages salespeople to stop acting like product pushers and start acting like problem solvers. The foundation of creative selling is asking questions. The quality of your questions determines the quality of your sales conversations. Top salespeople ask thoughtful, open-ended questions that uncover real needs. Listening is emphasized as one of the most valuable and underrated skills in selling. Most salespeople talk too much, hoping to persuade through volume. Creative sellers listen more than they speak, allowing prospects to feel understood and respected. Tracy explains that adaptability is critical. No two customers are exactly alike, and rigid sales scripts often fail. Creative sellers adjust their tone, pace, and approach based on the personality and emotional state of the prospect. Another key idea in this chapter is differentiation. Customers are constantly comparing options. Creative selling involves clearly communicating what makes you, your product, or your service different and better, without criticizing competitors. The chapter concludes by reinforcing that creativity in selling comes from preparation, curiosity, and a genuine desire to help. When salespeople focus on solving problems rather than closing deals, selling becomes easier and more natural. Chapter 5. Getting more appointments. Brian Tracy makes it clear that everything in selling begins with appointments. No appointments mean no presentations, and no presentations mean no sales. Yet, prospecting and appointment setting are the activities most salespeople avoid. The reason is not lack of knowledge. It is fear. Fear of rejection causes salespeople to procrastinate, delay calls, and fill their days with low-value activities that feel like work but avoid direct contact with prospects. Tracy explains that top salespeople think very differently. They see prospecting as the highest value use of their time and treat it as a professional discipline. One of the most important ideas in this chapter is emotional detachment. Successful salespeople do not take rejection personally. A prospect saying no is not a judgment of the salesperson's worth, personality, or competence. It is simply a response to timing, need, budget, or priorities. Tracy emphasizes that rejection is normal and unavoidable. In most industries, the majority of prospects will say no. Professionals accept this as part of the job and focus on consistent action rather than emotional reactions. Referrals play a central role in getting more appointments. Tracy explains that satisfied customers are usually happy to refer others, but most salespeople fail to ask. Asking for referrals should be routine, specific, and confident. A steady flow of referrals dramatically reduces resistance and increases closing rates. Another key point is persistence. Research consistently shows that most sales occur only after multiple contacts. However, the majority of salespeople give up after 1 or 2 attempts. Those who continue following up professionally gain a powerful advantage. This chapter reinforces that prospecting success is not about talent. It is about courage, consistency, and habits. When appointment setting becomes non-negotiable, sales results improve automatically. Chapter 6. The Power of Suggestion. In this chapter, Tracy explores how subtle psychological signals influence buying decisions. Customers are constantly influenced by tone of voice, body language, confidence, and expectations, often at a subconscious level. Salespeople who expect success unconsciously communicate certainty. This certainty reduces buyer anxiety and increases trust. On the other hand, hesitation or uncertainty triggers doubt in the prospect's mind. Tracy explains that suggestion works because people tend to align their behavior with the expectations placed upon them. When you speak as if buying is the natural and logical next step, customers are more likely to move forward. Mental rehearsal is a major theme here. Top salespeople visualize successful calls before they happen. By rehearsing positive outcomes in advance, they program their subconscious mind to perform calmly and confidently during real interactions. Language choice also matters. Positive, forward-moving words create momentum, while hesitant language creates resistance. Statements that assume progress subtly guide prospects toward decisions without pressure. This chapter highlights that selling is not about forcing decisions. It is about creating an environment where the right decision feels natural. Chapter 7. Making the Sale. Brian Tracy reframes closing as a service, not a manipulation. Closing simply means helping the customer take the next logical step once value has been clearly established. Many salespeople fail to close because they fear rejection. They delay asking for the order, wait for perfect conditions, or hope the prospect will decide on their own. Tracy explains that this hesitation often kills otherwise strong sales opportunities. Objections are a normal and healthy part of the buying process. They usually signal interest, not resistance. When prospects ask questions or express concerns, they're often seeking reassurance rather than reasons to say no. Top salespeople welcome objections and respond calmly. They listen carefully, acknowledge concerns, and clarify value. This builds trust and moves the sale forward. Timing is critical. Asking for the order too early creates pressure, while asking too late allows interest to fade. Skilled salespeople watch for buying signals such as positive questions, agreement, and engagement. The chapter emphasizes that confidence in closing comes from belief in the product, in the company, and in oneself. When salespeople truly believe they are helping the customer, closing feels natural rather than uncomfortable. Chapter 8. 10 Keys to Success in Selling. In the final chapter, Brian Tracy distills the entire book into core principles that define long-term sales success. First, self-confidence is foundational. Salespeople who believe in themselves consistently outperform those who doubt their abilities. Second, clear goals provide direction and motivation. Without goals, effort becomes scattered and results suffer. Third, continuous learning separates professionals from amateurs. Top salespeople never stop improving their skills. Fourth, responsibility is essential. Successful salespeople take full ownership of their results instead of blaming conditions or customers. Fifth, customer focus creates trust. Long-term success comes from serving rather than persuading. Sixth, persistence is non-negotiable. Most success comes after others have already quit. Seventh, effective time management ensures consistent productivity. High performers protect selling time aggressively. Eighth, integrity builds lasting relationships. Trust, once broken, is almost impossible to rebuild. Ninth, adaptability allows salespeople to thrive in changing markets. Flexibility is a competitive advantage. Finally, disciplined action ties everything together. Knowledge without action produces no results. Tracy concludes that selling excellence is not accidental. It is the result of deliberate thinking, practice skills, and consistent execution. The psychology of selling teaches that selling is an inside-out process. When you change how you think, you change how you sell and how much you earn. Master the inner game, and the outer results will follow.